Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 591, Doubleshot 495. These are two DC trades. First up is a spin-off of Just Like America, the one that was started by Jeff Johns and Matt Knott. This book was also started by Jeff Johns. Justice League America Vibe, Volume 1, Breach. Excuse me. This contains the entire 10-issue ongoing series. I say 10 issues, and you're thinking, why the last 10 issues? Because, well, like normally what New 52 had a problem with was the terrible marketing. Was the series bad? No, it was not. I mean, aside from the fact Jeff Johns got a hand in writing this book, there were at least two other people involved with the writing process of the series, along with Sterling Gates and Andrew Kreisberg. Does he recognize that game? Yes, this is the same guy who's the showrunner of The Flash. And those of you look at the cover like, man, that costume looks like Vibe on TV show. Yeah, the costume Vibe currently wears in Flash. Well, this comic made its debut back in 2013. Vibe on TV show didn't start wearing it until season 3. So there's that. Plus, there are characters who appear in this book who also appear on a TV series, like Gypsy. Yeah, and her father here is Richard, just like a TV show, though the real name was different. I think his real name is, on the show, it's Josh. Here it's... They say his name, it's different than it is in the show. Yeah. Also the character of Rapture. Yeah, I think that's his name, Rapture. Yeah, on the TV show, he's the Earth 2 evil version of, well, Vibe's younger brother. And here he's got two brothers. One who apparently died at the start of the series. The other one died halfway through this series. Yeah, and Rapture, Big Scythe. Yeah, he kind of looks. Yeah, it's the same attire that he wore on the TV show. Yep, they borrowed very heavily from this, though it's slightly altered on the TV show. But yeah, it's the same outfit. Oh yeah, in case you wonder, like, how in the world he gets powers? Well, he was exposed via boom tube. Also, I gotta point this out though. Gypsy's attire is in here. Yeah, that's actually the original attire that she had pre-Flashpoint. It's kind of like the artist, the book, like, okay, let's give Gypsy an outfit. Okay, like, well, nothing wrong with the original attire, so give her the outfit that she made back in the 80s with. Yep. Also, guest star appearance by Amethyst. Yep. Those who are familiar with this character, if you ever read the series or Sorcery, like, was that first appearance? No, it should be a first appearance in a backup story for an issue of Legion of Superheroes, which led to a very good ongoing series that was published in the 80s, which is printed in the Showcase Presents Amethyst of Gymworld. Trying to find it here. Where is it? And I know he's in here. Here he is. Here's Breacher. Though on the TV show, he's played by a guy who's actually 70, who is Hispanic. Let's see if I can find his name here. On the show, his real name is Josh. Here it's... Trying to find the guy's name here. Actually, I can't find his name. But during the course of the series, he runs into a couple superheroes. One, of course, if you read the back of the cover, yeah, he runs the Batman for a couple issues. He also meets Kid Flash, which is a connection to how he gets the Fast. Now, Kid Flash in here is not Wally West, it's not Bar Down, it's Bartor from the Scott Lobdell Teen Titans series. Yeah, and there's a hint of how he got to the past in here, but is it explored here? No. There are many things set up in here that are never explored. Yeah, that's still one of the biggest problems with this. There's many storylines. The only thing they did follow up it was stuff with what happened to his brother. That was really it. Now, the artist for this series is Pete Woods, Andreas Gludo, Darlis Sakaris, Fabio Neves, if I can find it here, Manuel Garcia, Sean Parsons, Mike Irwin, Wayne Fletcher Bitt, Sandra Hope Archer, and Mercy Daring. The cover artist, this is actually David Finch cover. The back, if you look very closely at it, yeah, it's a Brett Booth cover. Yeah, Brett Booth does some of the covers for this series. And those of you curious, though, about the Flash, the one that appears in the Flash TV show, he's an anagram of this version plus the original version that Jeffrey Carlin created back in the 80s. Yeah. This series is fantastic. It's just too bad the series got canceled. It's like so much story, so much stuff that was set up here, and it was never followed up. It's like when you read this trade, you're like, okay, there's some stuff that could be explored later on if this was a regular ongoing series, but because the series canceled due to low sales, one never can follow up. As a matter of fact, the series ends on a cliffhanger. Yes, it ends on a cliffhanger. Well, yeah, Cisco going back to, well, Breacher's world, because they kept the whole thing of, well, Gypsy from Ultimate Reality, which, excuse me, they actually had that on the show. And yes, and her real name is Cynthia Reynolds, just like both in the comic, here, in the pre-Flashman continuity, and on the TV show. Yep, Cynthia is her real name. This series is really good. I gotta hand this to Dylan Gates. He made Vibe a very interesting character to read. Now, when people think of Vibe's early appearances, you have to read the Jerry Conway run from the 80s of the Just Like Detroit era of Just Like America, which only lasted about a couple years. It started from issue 233, but the start of the era started with number 2, and it wrapped up with issue 261. That, of course, was the final issue of Volume 1 for Just Like America. And this is actually one of 2 spin-offs they had for Just Like America. The other, of course, was for Katana. Great series, but I think I heard how bad it was. I might get my hands on it in the future, but so I figured out Vibe, okay, I really like the character, plus because I'm a fan of his creator. The series is fantastic. Just kind of wish they would have explored all the plot points in here. Like, the only thing they really built upon was the thing with Gypsy. Yeah, that was the only thing they actually managed to actually fulfill, because there was many plot threads to the series that were never wrapped up by the time the series was wrapped up, by the time the series ended. I give this book a 9.5%. It's good, but I kind of wish the series had more time to develop. Next, of course, is a book by Greg Rucka. This is the Omac Project, and I think there's a new printing of this thing. I'm saying yes. Now, this contains the original 6-issue miniseries, the Omac Project, but it doesn't contain the Infinite Crisis special for some reason. Yeah, there was a special that came up for Infinite Crisis that took place after this miniseries wrapped up. Yeah, that's not in here. They also threw in here Captain Infinite Crisis, which actually led into this very miniseries, and Wonder Woman 2 in 19. That was part of a 3-part story involving Greg Rucka doing a 3-part crossover story between Action Comics, Superman volume. It was 2 Superman books and a Wonder Woman book. They actually do a brief text review in here, and of course showing off Wonder Woman killing Maxwell Lord. You have to read I did review the Trade Sacrifice, so you get my thoughts on that. Now the whole thing, it makes perfect sense. I would do this now because, well, this version of Omac, let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, the ones that are blue. Yeah, not the ones who, not the, whatchamacallit. What was the name of that one? Oh yeah, not the Deal version, the one that's, whose real name is Kevin. I'm talking about these guys. Yep, these guys finally make their return recently in the pages of Teta Comics. So it makes sense I talk about their first appearance here. Now, you gotta thank Jeff Johns for bringing in Brother Eye into present day, because in the original stories they were set in the future. The OMAC, those who wonder what it stands for One Man Army Corps. The original idea of this was from Jack the King Kirby. There's a couple of versions prior to this. You have the original version that came out in the 70s, which later was continuing the backup featuring Commodity, which was another series style by Jack Kirby, and it was brought back in the 90s as a 4-issue limited series by John Byrne, who wrote and drew the series. This is by far the 3rd version of OMAC, where it's an entire project, and there's more than one OMAC. There is a bunch of these things, and apparently people become actual OMACs. Heck, you can kind of see a series also as a backdoor pilot to the Checkmate series Greg Rucka would do the following year. A series that lasted for 31 issues. Rucker wrote the first 25, the last 6 done by somebody else. Plus, one thing I appreciate about this particular trade is it includes the Count Infinite Crisis one-shot, which leads directly into the series, because if you read it, okay, you have the one-shot, and then the first issue picks up right where that one-shot left off. And the whole point of this series, it sets up Infinite Crisis. I will eventually, hopefully, get a chance to do a review of the actual miniseries itself, though the trade of it. But this series is fantastic. If I read Record again, I have something else for him to sign, though, because this series is fantastic. I've never read a bad series by him, surprisingly. Now, the artwork in here is done by Jesus Sadis. And I think if I can find the name here. Yeah. The other artist is Cliff Richards. Yep, Cliff Richards. He's the other artist on here, along with Ed Baines, Ivy Reyes, and Phil Jimenez. Yes. Where do I get this book? 9.5 out of 10. It's an amazing miniseries. Highly recommend it. Though the Count of Infinite Crisis issue, I should point out, though, it's a controversial one-shot for good reason. Why? Because the death of Ted Cord in a very gory page. Luckily enough that, despite the fact it's somewhat gory, it's done somewhat in shadow, so you don't see like the full effect. Unlike what Liefeld did for Youngblood number 10 when he had Chapel commit suicide on a 2-page spread. Do you want to limited in here? One panel. Thank you, God. Thank you. Who's the artist for this one shot? I want to give his praise here. Thank you to all the artists who actually did this thing, which are Rag Morales, Michael Barr, Ed Bain, Jesus Jimmy Palmiani, Ivy Reyes, Mark Campos, Phil Jimenez, and Andy Lenning. I'm not sure which one of these guys did the page where they killed off Ted Cord, but thank you for not making it like Rob Liefeld did for Youngblood number 10. Yeah, I gotta get praise for that. But got a lot of Rucka stuff. Rucka is pretty much kind of like what Chuck Dixon did in the 90s, basically doing a lot of Batman-related stuff. Yeah, Batman's in this series. Yeah, this is kind of like a Batman-centric series in a way, because Batman did create Brother Eye because what happened, Identity Crisis. Yeah. Great miniseries. Highly recommend it. But also get the Infinite Crisis Omac Project special, which takes place after Infinite Crisis, and plus, there's at one point in the miniseries, they do it here and also in that one shot, where Batman and Sasha make out, though the whole thing with Sasha, she gets great development by Greg Rucka in the Checkmate series, where she gets in a relationship with Mr. Terrific. Yep. I'm hoping to get my hands on possibly the second volume of Checkmate by Greg Rucka. I kind of wish DC would put into trade the first volume of Checkmate by Paul Kupperberg. It's a fantastic run. Yeah, the only thing of his that's been put into trade is like one issue of that run, his entire Supergirl run, and that's it. That's all I could think of is put into like all the stuff he did, because he did fantastic work for DC Comics. Rucka, I know for a fact, like pretty much almost everything he's done for DC Comics hasn't put into trade. Yep. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode 592 and Doubleshot number 496. I will probably do it later on today, where it's going to be a Batman trade and a Supernatural-based trade. Yep, you'll find out what they are in the next episode. But the next video I'm going to do is definitely going to be One Piece. I said to do this one because, why not? The last episode wasn't very long, so I figured I'd do this one quickly. Alright, so until I see you in the next video, which is going to be One Piece. Bye.